If you find that the relationships around you have toxic outcomes, then I want you to look at where's the breakdown.
The number one way to deal with negative people in your life is through empathy.
Don't break up with people. Don't break away from people. Don't stop being their friends. A better mindset is recognize when the relationship is just complete.
Rise and shine, it's Entspresso time. Hey Believe Nation, I am not a morning person, but when you start your day with a powerful routine that inspires you, like watching one of these videos, it will change your life. So let's start your day off right together. Grab your coffee, know that I believe in you, and get ready for a shot of Entspresso from Lisa Nichols.
I wake up every morning.
Espresso keep me going.
I wake up every morning.
If you find that the relationships around you have toxic outcomes, then I want you to look at where's the breakdown. Is the breakdown in communication? Is the breakdown in how you communicate, the words you're using? Is the breakdown in who you choose to be around? Is the breakdown in the engagement of what you're talking about? What I've learned is that if you're not talking about things that are high enough and big enough, things that are inspiring enough, you will slip into the smallness every single time. If you don't choose an intentionally high, evolving, encouraging conversation, you will slip into the cracks. You will slip into those crevices of smallness and petty. And until you get people trained that you're going to live up here without telling them, I need you to know, it's not an announcement. It's a way of being. It's a what do you choose to participate in? It's a stepping over your desire to hear smallness, gossip, negative feedback. It's when someone is engaging in negative feedback about someone else, the fact that you didn't add anything to the conversation doesn't let you off the hook. Did you stop the conversation? Did you say, hold on, I don't want to engage in speaking negatively of them at all. Why don't you have a conversation with them? It's course correcting behaviors in your space at the risk of losing the relationship. But what you basically do is you say, here's where I play. Here is where I live. I'm not visiting this high road of integrity. I'm not visiting this high road of conscious thinking and awareness and respect and humility and honoring the dignity in people. I don't visit this place. I live here. I don't visit this place. I live here. And in a loving way, anyone that's engaging with you has two choices. They either engage with you here or they choose to engage with someone else. Now, if you find that you're going down to be in the relationship, or you're going down and you're the person taking the relationship down because you're in a moment of anger, or you're in a moment of resentment, or you're in a moment of hurt, then you're not living in your highest integrity. You just visit every now and again when you come to this channel. Uh-oh, I see my Shantae coming out right now. Shantae is my middle name. It's what I do when I start getting real edgy because I really want you to get it. So you need to make a decision on where you choose to reside. And then you don't leave your conscious neighborhood to go visit other people's neighborhood if it's not as high as yours. People will rise to the occasion, or they'll choose not to rise, and they'll pick other people to be with and hang with. And I know that sounds easier said than done, because some of the people who are playing at a lower level might be in family. It might be, and that's fine too. You can love people. It doesn't mean you have to spend tons and tons and tons of time if that time costs you something. Spend as much time as you can. Spend as much time as serves you. Spend as much time as they will allow you to spend. But never leave this place. Even if being with them causes you to allow them to be where they are, you don't have to engage in that. So the bottom line in supporting you to either recognize, are you the toxic element, or are you surrounding yourself in toxic element, is to make a commitment where you live. Where am I living? And first own where you're currently living, because if you own it, you might go, you know what, I do slip into that small place. Okay, own it. That's conscious awareness. That's powerful. Own it. And then go, where do I want to be? And then what's the distance between here and there? And what do I have to do to get there? What do I have to say no to? What do I have to participate in? What do I have to ask forgiveness for? What do I have to clean up? What relationships require cleaning up? And then what declarations must I make? and what decisions must I live in? Don't make a decision, live in your decision.
The number one way to deal with negative people in your life is through empathy. It's empathy. It's not hating them back. It's not spreading negativity. It's not reminding yourself that you're better than them. It's empathy. And it's not even just feeling bad for them. It's actually connecting to them. Let me explain. I default to assuming that people are good. This is a wild idea. People are good. Humans are good. I've done the WHO exercise, the year one word exercise, helping people find the most important core value with so many people. And it's always something positive. I believe that 99.9999999% of people are good. There's a tiny percentage of people who enjoy killing people and maybe have a few screws loose up here. But for the most part, we're good. Everybody has dreams. Everybody has ambitions. Everybody wants to serve. Everybody wants to be in a better place than where they are right now. The problem is, a lot of people are afraid. A lot of people are in pain. A lot of people are struggling. A lot of people are suffering. A lot of people have tried. They took their shot and it didn't work out. And because they're so in pain, now they don't want other people around them to have success either. Because if they took a shot and it didn't work out, they don't want to own it, that it's on them. But if you then go off and have success, you start achieving your goals, what does that say about them? Right? It's not that the world is rigged against them, it's that they actually suck. And they don't want to admit that, and they don't want to own up to that. And so they're living in pain. And so they take it out on other people. They take it out on you, they take it out on me, they take it out on the world. They take it out on people. Right? That's what people do when they're in a lot of pain. Think about you. Think about your experiences, your life. Think about when you've been in a lot of pain, when you've struggled. Really think about this. The last time that you were struggling in a lot of pain, did you then show up as your best self in all situations? Did you maybe lose your cool on somebody? Did you maybe insult somebody? Did you maybe say something that you're not proud of that you later would regret? Has that ever happened to you? It's not that you're a bad person. It's not that you're a toxic person. It's not that you're a hater. You were just in a lot of pain. And so the people who are throwing shade at you are in a lot of pain. They're struggling. And just recognizing that, just trying to put yourself in their shoes and look at their life. And if you know them, you can actually look at their life. And if you don't know them, you can assume things about their life. If somebody's coming and leaving a negative comment on your YouTube video, the fact that that is the highlight of their day speaks volumes about them, right? If the best part of your day is going to somebody's YouTube channel, leaving some nasty comment, that gets you feeling good. You're in a lot of, just imagine the pain that person's in. Imagine what their life is like right now. And it's a bit of a mental exercise because at the beginning, the natural reaction is to be defensive. It's like, well, no, I'm not this. And how could you call me that? And we want the people around us to support us and cheer us on and tell us that we're doing the right thing. So the natural defense mechanism kicks in where we say, no, that's not right. But if you can take a breather, you can take a step back and you can just try to have empathy. Try to put yourself in their shoes. Try to see that they're in a lot of pain. What it does is removes the sting from the words. It removes the venom from the words. It doesn't get you to react as emotionally. It allows you to show up more as your best self. It's one of the most valuable things you can start to practice. This is one of the things that prevents people from creating content, from posting videos, from sharing their thoughts. You've got a big mission, a message. Your story can change people's lives. Your story can change people's lives. It will change people's lives. And we're afraid to do it because of how people that we don't know or people that we do know will judge us. We're afraid that we're going to get negative comments. And that's the reason why you're not putting your message out there. We have to learn, you have to learn to stop getting in your own way and to start sharing, to start releasing, to start living your life, the life that you want, not somebody else's version of it. People are going to judge you. It doesn't say anything about you. It talks about them, their mental state, the pain that they're in, the struggle that they're in, the suffering that they're in right now. So step number one is have empathy. Empathy. Try to put yourself in their shoes, understand the pain that they're going through, and it removes the emotion from what they're saying and how they're behaving. Okay, step number two is there any validity in what they're saying? Sometimes there's actually some truth to what they're saying, even if it's only 1% truth. If it's 99% negativity and 1% truth, a lot of times, when a customer writes in, maybe they're really upset. Maybe they feel cheated. Maybe they feel ripped off. Maybe they feel you didn't do your job. Maybe they got cut off in traffic in a really bad mood today, right? But maybe they're calling in to cancel or they get a refund from you. Maybe there's some validity in what they're saying. Before we just write off somebody and say, you're a negative person, you're toxic, I don't want you in my life, maybe there's actually some truth. They presented it very poorly. The packaging was terrible, right? The packaging sucked. But maybe there's some validity in the message. Maybe there's part truth that you can learn from. And I think this is really important, because if you can only learn from people who package things really nicely, who sugarcoat everything, who put in this beautiful, bow to say, I love you and you're amazing and keep doing what you're doing. And I have one little tiny bit of feedback that maybe you could learn from, like maybe this one little thing, but I love you and you're amazing. Like, if that's the only way that you can receive feedback, you're never going to get the feedback you need to win. Sometimes people will rage on you. Sometimes people will yell at you. Sometimes people will be rude to you. Sometimes people will call you names. Sometimes people will freak out. It's going to happen. Is there any truth, right? Once you can remove the sting because you have empathy for them, now you can actually see what they're saying and see which you can use, what you can digest and what is worth digesting, what you're just going to discard. Because there might be truth buried somewhere inside of their words that can make you better, that can still help you, that can improve your life and your situation, your business, and where you're trying to go. So step number 1, remove the sting. Step number 2, look for the truth, if there is. Now, there may be some that is just negative, but don't just default to thinking negative. Default to thinking, maybe there's a lesson I can learn here. And step number 3 is then just decide, can you still be around these people or not? This is especially when they're in your life, where they're friends, with their family, the people you're seeing. You might have to disconnect for a while. You might have to, because you're not strong enough yet, you might have to not be around them because their words hurt too much still. You might have to go and build your muscle, build your empathy muscle, build your empathy muscle. Say that 10 times fast. You might have to go build that muscle. And that means you spend less time with them or kick them out of your life. Ultimately, though, what I see leaders, entrepreneurs, I think you're a tree. And I wrote about this in my book, Built to Serve. I think you're a tree. What does a tree do? A tree breathes in the carbon dioxide, which too much of for humans is poison. The trees will breathe it in. They'll eat it. They'll grow from it. And then they'll spit out oxygen, positivity for the world. I see that as part of our role as leaders and as entrepreneurs, is to eat other people's negativity, grow from it, get better from it, and then spit out more positivity, more oxygen for the world. Ultimately, the people who are negative in your life, you have an ability to influence them. You have an ability to help them see the positive road, not through your advice, but through your actions. By you going off and doing your thing will inspire other people to want to change their life as well. Whoever is more confident wins. And when you're around really negative people, if you are doubting your positivity, they're going to win. They're going to drag you down. But ultimately, the goal is to get so positive, so optimistic, so happy that you pull them up. That you're more positive, you're more certain in your positivity than they are certain in their negativity. And you pull them towards making a better life decision. I hope that helps. Now I've got a special bonus clip that I think you're gonna enjoy, but before that, it's time for the question of the day. I wanna know, what was your single biggest takeaway from this video, and what is your plan of action for the next week? The science says that when you just watch a video, you get motivated, you get inspired, you have a 35% chance of actually doing something and following through. That, Believe Nation, is not enough. 35% is not enough. We gotta do something. But when you get inspired by watching a video like this, and then you create a plan of action, your chances of following through jump to 91%. And when you commit publicly, like putting your comment down below with your plan, it jumps to 95%. That's what I want for you. I want you to take action. Your dreams are too important. Your life matters. Your mission has to happen. So, question of the day, your biggest takeaway from this video and your plan of action for the next week, put it down in the comments below, and I'm gonna celebrate alongside with you. Also, if you want to have more confidence, self-love, self-belief, check out my 254 series. The science says it can take up to 254 days of consecutive action to build a habit. So I've designed a special free program to help you get it, where I will send you an unlisted video to your email for the next 254 days to shift your self-belief forward. The link to sign up for free is in the description below.
We validate who we are by what we're doing for other people.
I say if your knees aren't knocking and your teeth aren't chattering just a little at least, then you're not playing big enough.
Over the years, I've had to learn how to disconnect myself from people, how to pull away, how to move on without what I call Benihana-ing people. Now, I don't know if you remember, but if you ever go to a Benihana restaurant, they have those sharp knives and they kind of go, and you don't even know that the zucchini is like all diced up until they move it and then everything is cut apart. Well, I used to have a habit of like cutting people off so well, so fast that I felt like I Benihana them. Like they didn't know they were like all sliced and diced until they went to walk away and their head fell off and then their arms fell off. And over the years, I had to learn, how do I complete? By the way, I would say, don't break up with people. Don't break away from people. Don't stop being their friends. A better mindset is recognize when the relationship is just complete. Now, I say complete with me. When I say complete, that means the relationship has had every experience that it needs to have. You've done everything you need to do, and it's just complete. So you don't have to make people wrong. That was a big lesson for me, because we're taught that in order for relationships to end, someone's brains need to be splattered on the ceiling. Well, the older, wiser me recognizes that I can end relationships from people who I've outgrown, or people who might be toxic, or people who are just not a fit for me, and also leave their dignity intact. Key word. I want you to write that down, type that in chat, because there is a way that you can complete with people. Notice I'm using these key words with you. You can complete with people, meaning every experience that we need to have, we've had. And now I'm complete. That you can do that and leave their dignity intact. You can say this relationship has run its course. You don't have to outline everything that's not working, because you know, when we outline things that are not working, all we're doing is making people wrong. So let me just say, the way you complete a relationship is to first check your ego. Because your ego, or ladies, your she-go, whoo, they will get in the way, and what you want to do is point. I'm done with you because of this, and this. And we all know when you point one finger over there, the three fingers point back at you. We've all heard it. But more importantly than that is, can you give people the gift? If you're really on this journey called transformation, can you give people the gift of completing a relationship with them while leaving their dignity intact? Let me show you how, because I had to learn this one. So you want to write this down. So number one, when you go into a relationship, when you go into a conversation, number one, when you go into a conversation that needs a course correction or that you're going to complete with, you don't want to go in and say, I have to talk to you about something. Something isn't working, because you're neutral. So you go into that relationship already at zero. You're neutral. Now follow me with this. You got to really pay attention. So eliminate all distractions right now. You don't want to go into a relationship that's going to be difficult at neutral. You want to go into the relationship at plus. Okay? So you might hear some noise in the background. Don't worry about that. I'm sitting in my backyard. It's summertime. I have kids playing. It's summertime. They're free. Waterfalls are flowing. So I'm not going to bother to stop the recording so we have a perfect situation. Life ain't perfect. I'm going to keep going because you need this lesson like some people need life at times, right? So you go into a conversation at zero when you say, I need to talk to you about something. Instead, I want you to think of it this way. When you go in at zero and then you say, what's wrong? I need to talk to you. This doesn't work for me. This doesn't work for me. Every time you say this doesn't work for me, you go down one notch. -1, -2, -3, right? Most people do that. Almost everyone does that. Look, we need to talk. As soon as you say that, people are like, oh, what? And then you go on to all the things that don't work for you, right? Well, that takes them down. -1, -2, -3. You never get back up, which is why brain splatter ends up on the ceiling, because you can never get up to neutral again. You started and you took them down, and you guys couldn't get back out. Let's try this. So I want you to get a piece of paper out, and I want you to write 0 and draw a line like it's a guiding line, and write 0 right in the center of that line. And then write -1, -2, -3 below the line. Instead of starting with I need to talk to you about something and going into what's wrong, I want you to start every challenging conversation, and I want you to take them up, plus them. Think about it, +3 me, +3 me, +3 me, right? Which means I need to talk to you about something. First of all, what I want to tell you is what I love about you, +1. What I respect about you is +2. What I appreciate and honor you for, +3. What I realize is that I'm really complete with this relationship. There are parts of it that's not serving me anymore, and it's time for me to move on, +2. I need to love you from a distance. I just need space, +1. And I need that space to begin now, 0. Still a hard conversation, but now you've ended at 0 versus -3. Still not easy to have. I didn't say it was going to be easy. But when you +3 me, you actually add value and add energy to who I am and affirming me. Because even in the worst relationship, even in the most negative situation, you can find things to love people for, to appreciate them for, and to honor them for. And then they're the things that don't work. +3 me, and then course correct me. +3 me, and then complete with me. +3 me before you do anything else. So in any conversation with a coworker, with a child, with a loved one, with a romantic interest, with a friend, +3 me. And then let's manage what can be fixed, adjusted, or shifted in our relationship. Remember, this is not a monologue. No way, Jose. I am not interested in being the only person talking here. I want to hear from you. Your words mean everything. I think what makes this channel so unique and so delicious and so dynamic is the conversations that we have in chat, around the videos, around the messages. I would love to hear from you. What conversation have you had in the past and you needed this technique? What conversation is up for you to have in the future and you are so glad that you now have this technique? Remember, +3 me, plus, then go down and course correct. Most importantly, in every conversation, remember to leave their dignity intact. That's what you owe, not them, but that's what you owe the person that you've committed to being.
Christy talked about affirmations. Abundant thinkers understand the power of I am. Anything after the word I am is true to your unconscious mind, Michael. Anything after I am. Anything after I am. Even if you know it's not true, your conscious mind will believe it. Anything after I am. So the use of affirmations is very intentional and very consistent. I was diagnosed as clinically depressed in 2001. 1998, I'm sorry. I was diagnosed as clinically depressed. It didn't make sense. I had been in a relationship, I was engaged to get married, and my fiance, who I did not know at the time, was bipolar. And he'd stopped taking his medicines and under the belief system that love can cure anything. And so I ended up being picked up and thrown 3 feet across the room, and I ended up being choked until I passed out. And once I got out of that relationship, I just was different. It was different. So my mom insisted that I go to the doctor. I went to the doctor, and I sat on the table, and she checked me and talked to me and came back in with a prescription. And she said, Lisa, you're clinically depressed. And I felt like I heard Charlie Brown's parents talking like, wah, 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 wah. Clinically depressed, and least, that'll make sense in that same sentence. And she handed me a prescription, and I read the prescription, and it had my name on it, and it said Prozac. And I thought, that don't make sense. Lisa Nichols, that don't make sense. And I said, do you mean I'm sad? She said, very, very sad. I said, can I try something? And I'm not recommending you guys, if you're on medication, you stop taking your meds, please don't do that. I asked my doctor, she agreed. I said, do you mind if I try something before I take this? She goes, yes, but I need to see you back in 30 days. If you're in the same condition, I need us to try this medicine. I said, okay, I could do that. So I went home, and every day I got in the mirror and I drilled, I am, every day. Because I realized I had forgotten who I was. I just forgot. And it was okay to forget. I just forgot. So every day for 25 minutes, I just went over the I ams. Every day, I am. And then I paralleled that with I forgive you for. Then I paralleled that with I commit to you, Lisa, every single day. I went back in 30 days, and I'm talking to her, and I'm on fire. She's just looking at me. And I'm just talking. She twisted her head again. And I'm just talking. She says, wait, I got to stop you. I said, what? She goes, what are you taking? And can I have some? I was like, I'm taking some of me. And so the power of I am can pull you through the darkest moment. The power of I am.
Every single thing you touch is impacted by your story. As an attorney, as a teacher, as an architect, there's not one line of business that you can be in that a story, and a great story, won't elevate your outcome. Every single line of business, every single line of service that you're connected to will be impacted and ideally elevated by the level in which you're willing to tell and share your story. So let me give you some guidelines, some parameters, what I like to call the bumper rails, as if you're going bowling. You know, when I go bowling, I ask them to put the little bumper rails down so I can my ball can get down the lane. So let me set up some bumper rails for you so that you understand what makes a great story. So one is the willingness to take risk. Most people, Vishen, when they're telling a story, they don't want to take a risk. So the story has its limits on how high it'll go or how deep it'll go. And when you have that, then you're really not at that part that's going to touch my soul. So being willing to take a risk, being clear and concise with your stories. A great story is a show me story, not a tell me story. Now, this is the distinction that's the game changer for most. Most people are telling a story. They say, so let me just share with you a little bit of my story, and I'll tell you and then I'll show you. So as I was building my life, there was a time in my life that was very difficult. It was very challenging. True story. Very difficult, very challenging, very uncomfortable. I didn't have a lot of money. I didn't have a lot of hope, and things just looked dismal. At some point, I had to turn my life around. At some point, I made the decision that life had to get better. I'm telling you that. It's decent. You learn about me. Then if I were to show you that story, I would say 6 days a week, I had to eat beanies and weenies. I had to find money in the crevices and the corners of my couch so that I can get my son milk. There were times when my heart would beat fast just at what am I going to have tomorrow? At some point, I got sick and tired of my own story. Is this going to be my future? No, I can't handle it. Notice the difference in that second story.
Wow. I completely see that.
I just painted a picture. Same story. Mm-hmm. Now, the second one, when you show a story, it's going to require more of you. It's going to require you to find the colors. What were you thinking? What were you experiencing? What was going on in your head? Instead of telling me you look for money, turn and point. Now, this is anywhere. This is anywhere you are doing anything. I promise you, you become a great storyteller and you will captivate your audience no matter what you're doing. I've captivated investors. I've captivated students. I've captivated educators because I was willing to show the story. I call it unpacking the story, Vishen. Being willing to tell me, what were you thinking? What were you feeling? What were you seeing? Think about a story as an oral movie. And so in an oral movie, think when you're looking at a movie, the first thing they do is they identify what state of time it is. Is it futuristic? Is it in the now? Was it back in the day? You notice that based on what people are wearing, how they're talking. So paint that picture for me. Take me to that environment. Set the backdrop up for me. Show me what you're going through. Instead of saying I was angry, You can tell me you were angry, but when you say the hair on the back of my neck was standing up, I felt the fumes exiting my nose. I thought that my chest was going to pop and I was going to say something that I'd regret forever. Ooh, you just showed me you were angry. Take that extra time to unpack it. Why will most people not do that? Because it requires a level of vulnerability that we're not willing to share. And so when you look at prioritizing, it really lives in, and I'm gonna say this word, and you're probably not gonna wanna hear it, but when I tell you it's a game changer, when you master, and just for now, begin to operate inside of time management. I used to resist time management because I'm a free spirit / people would call me a rebel back in the day, meaning I didn't wanna be controlled. I'm a butterfly. I wanted to soar. I wanted to be free. Well, the reality is that when you manage your time more effectively, you actually create more freedom. That was a huge aha for me. Somebody's gonna BOL right now, like breakthrough out loud. Because when you time manage, meaning, I'm gonna use better blocks of my time. Let me give you some examples for that. I'm gonna use better blocks of my time, meaning I'm only gonna go in my email 3 times a day. I go on my email about 9:30, between 9:20 and 9:40, I go on my email. I stay in my email for 30 minutes. I'll go back in my email about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I stay in my email again for about 30 minutes. I go back on my email one more time at 6 p.m. I stay in for about 30 minutes. That's it. I don't go in 19 times. I don't go in 20 times because 3 times a day gives me adequate time to see what's in there, see what's new, and act appropriately. Otherwise, it's throwing me off. I time block my day, about 90 minutes each time block to do a task. Even if a task only takes me 30 minutes, I time block 90 minutes because I get distracted. But when you time block your day and then you schedule each day, not every day looks the same. I have a time block for everything I need to do for 7 days out the week. Can you believe that in that time, I got more things done? You have to become comfortable with your no. My grandmother says, baby, she starts every sentence with baby. Baby, if you want your yes to have more value, you need to learn how to exercise your no. See, your yes might not have its value anymore. Why? Because you give it away too much. You give it to too many people. You give it away too often. You're always overcommitting, and then you feel drained and frustrated, and you don't have gratitude in your heart because you're overcommitted. Well, that all started with a yes that should have been a no, or should have been a I'd love to, but not now. And so number 1 is more effective time management that has your agenda in it, that has your priorities in it. Right now, your agenda is covered with everyone else's task. I heard once, if you don't have your agenda, then you're gonna work for somebody else's agenda. And so number 1 is your time management with your agenda. And number 2 is operating, utilizing, and being comfortable in a no. And not an attitude no, not like a stank no, like no. Not that, just a no, not now. No, I would love to, but my plate is full. I'm free in 90 days. Just don't make, no energy, just not now. Don't be surprised when everyone comes to you. You're great, you're amazing, you're brilliant. Look at you, you're on this channel, so you know you're smart. You want a better life, you want an abundant life, of course you're here. Of course everyone wants you. And your priorities matter. So the third thing is to remember, it's your job to fill your own tank. It's your job to fulfill your own dreams. It's your job to write the story that you're going to want to read. It's your job. So the responsibility of your dreams coming true does not belong to your husband, does not belong to your man, does not belong to your woman or to your children. So to wait and hope for them to one day see your dream as a priority, that's an unrealistic expectation. And actually, it's unfair. It's your priority. And what that looks like is carving out time. It looks like putting it on the agenda. It looks like declaring it out loud so that the world could hear. It looks like giving yourself a chance, 1,000 chances, and pressing reset if you happen to fall down or sit down or get distracted. So if you want to know what does it mean to keep your priorities, your dreams a priority, it starts with you. It starts right now. It starts right here.
I know what it feels like to prioritize other people over my dream. I did it for years. I love being loved. I love love and I love being loved. And I used to say yes all the time just to be loved. And I realized that I was teaching the people around me how to treat me. That you teach the people around you how to treat you. So if they're treating you as if your life isn't a priority, your dreams are a priority, it's because you taught them how to treat you that way. I know, ouch. Lisa, dang. I know, it stings. It stings when I say it. It stings me when I say it. But the reality is, if you train them how to treat you, then you can retrain them how to treat you now. And it's not a matter of making any big announcements. It starts with just setting some healthy boundaries. It's starting with making some time management. It starts by making sure you continue to come back here and that we stay connected and that you allow me or someone else to help navigate you through the terrain called designing a better life, the one that you love, the one that you admire. And so let's start with those things because that'll make a huge difference in your life. You know, when you want to learn how to trust your intuition more, you know, I say, and this is me and my walk and my belief system, that your intuition is your internal GPS system, your internal God placement system. It's that whisper, and sometimes it's that scream that tells you to leap or to be still. Your intuition is a combination of spirit, emotion, and logic, and it's guiding you. And so often we don't hear our intuition. Why don't we hear it? Because we're having too much chatter in our head. Like the chatter in our head, doubt, worry, judgment. Oh my God, judgment or fear of other people's perception of you. So your intuition is saying, I love to dance, I want to sing. Your intuition is saying, we can have a great time. Your intuition is saying, I want love. Your intuition is saying, gosh, let's go take that chance on that writing that book, or let's take that chance on starting that business. And then your chatter comes in. No, what if I fail? So let me explain this to you. Your mind, your brain is designed to keep you safe. It's designed and it only has the ability to go back in time in the mental file cabinet and look at the last time you tried something like this, and it may not have been good, or it may have ended in some dangerous situations where people could judge you, and your brain is designed to protect you. That's it. Your brain is designed to protect you. It's logical. Your intuition is that spark of passion. It's that spark of desire. It's that spark of love. It's that spark of pull me forward. It's that little bit of radical. It's that lot bit of I want to leave my fingerprint on this planet. Your brain isn't designed to have those same ideas now. Now, your intuition can kick the brain in, and the brain can start thinking of ways too, but the intuition is where it's going to start. It's in your gut. It's why when you feel something, you kind of go here. You don't go, oh, I feel so special. You don't say I feel special here. You say I feel it here. I feel it here. And so your job is not to turn down the doubt. Your job is to turn up the passion. It's to turn up the faith. It's to turn up the possibility. Now, still make well thought out plans. I always say the best plan is the plan made. I don't care if you have to upgrade it, you have to modify it, but if you fail to plan, then you've planned to fail. So every dream, every passion, every desire, follow it with a plan, because that's where your brain gets excited. Your brain goes, yeah, we got a plan now. Now you can believe yourself. See, you set big goals and dreams and you have desires, and then you don't achieve it, but you don't achieve it because you didn't set the plan in place. You didn't do the details, and then you stop believing you could do it. And then you do the biggest tragedy. You stop dreaming. You stop hoping. You stop stretching yourself. You stop listening to your GPS, your God placement system that says you've been put here on a divine assignment. And your assignment may change over years. Guess what? Your assignment you had 15 years ago may be very different from the assignment on your life today. Your job is to turn down the volume in your head. The volume of judgment, the volume of fear, the volume of worry, the volume of perfection. Turn down the volume in your head and turn up
the volume in your intuition, in your solar plex, in that God placement system, in that heart space. Turn up the volume in that place that just says, what do I want? What? Ask yourself this tonight, today, tomorrow. What feels good to my soul? And then be still and be quiet. I believe in prayer, and I believe in meditation. And I grew up only knowing about prayer. But then I learned that prayer is asking God or the divine, whatever you call your God. I'm not imposing my belief systems on you, but I call him God. That prayer is asking God for direction. And meditation is being still and quiet long enough to hear the answer. A lot of times we don't hear our intuitive spirit talking to us because we're not still and we're not quiet long enough to hear it. So give yourself the gift of quiet time. And really, after you've asked the question, what brings me joy? What excites my soul? What do I want to do for the next 6 months or 6 years? What makes me feel passionate? What sets me on fire? And then be still. And then listen. But the biggest question is, will you be bold enough to act on what you hear? I ain't going nowhere. So I want to hear what happens. I want to hear what you heard. I want to hear what came up for you. I want to hear what stirred your soul. I want to hear how excited you got. I want to hear about the feelings that begin to pulse through your entire body when you listened to your GPS, when you listen to that calling in your soul. I want to know, because that's when the hair on the back of your neck stands up. That's when you get chicken skin. That's when you can't sleep at night. That's when you get up early. I'm just saying. So I get asked the question a lot, how do I jumpstart again when I've been complacent? You know, I found that I had to ask myself this question as well. For so many years, I was working hard to feed Jelani. I was working hard to give him an equal chance. I had this goal that by the time he was 18, I would have transformed our lives. And I ran hard for it, and I worked hard for it. And by the time he was 18, our lives were completely transformed and barely recognizable. And I found that I had slowed down a bit, still running, but running at about 70%. And the challenge that you have to watch out for is that your 70% could be someone else's 115%, because you are such a game changer. So you can impress a lot of people never playing full out. And you can look up and a year has passed, 3 years has passed, 5 years have passed, and you haven't played full out for a while because you've already achieved a lot by some people's standards. But there's still so much more that you can do. I want to coach you in this way. Dream a dream or set a goal that's big enough to make you get nervous. Oftentimes, if you're not setting a goal that's beyond 3 years out in front of you, there's not enough to run for. So I want you to look at your goals. Can you achieve them in a year, 2 years? I want you to set a goal for 3 years, set a goal for 5 years, and set a goal for 10 years. Yes, I said 10 years. When I did this phenomenal program called Lifebook, they had me set 10-year goals, and I was so uncomfortable. I sat there silent for a moment. I hadn't thought 10 years out about my life. But if you go out far enough, 10, 5, 3, then all of a sudden you're playing for something so much bigger. And then set a goal that makes your knees knock and your teeth chatter a bit. If you know how to get to your goal, you're not dreaming big enough. Now, the goal also has to be realistic. So it has to be realistic, something you can do. If you're currently making $80,000, then your goal in 3 years isn't to make $500,000 unless you have a path that's viable to get you there. That's real. The thing that's really important to remember about a goal is that if you set lofty goals that you will never hit because they're not realistic in the first place, you have to set realistic goals. Doesn't mean you're not capable, doesn't mean that you don't believe in yourself, but realistic goals. If you set a bunch of unrealistic goals and you don't hit them, every time you don't hit a goal, you lose just a little bit of hope in yourself, a little bit of faith in yourself. And then what happens is you look up 5 years, 10 years from now, and you're not dreaming anymore. You're not setting goals anymore. You're afraid to tell anyone. So set a goal that makes your knees knock and your teeth chatter a bit. Set a goal that's 3 years out in front of you, set one that's 5 years, and set one that's 10 years. As a matter of fact, set several in all those timelines. And then hook your caboose to the train of other people who are running as fast as you are. Surround yourself in a community that inspires you to want to stand on your tippy toes. They inspire you because they're doing so much. Now, they believe in values, they believe in faith, they believe in family, but they also believe in running hard, playing hard, and living big. Because if you're the biggest fish in your community, then that's okay. You just need to get a second community to play inside of as well. And so if you find yourself going, hold on, I've become complacent, walk out 15 years and go, do I want to look back in 15 years and this was the best that I did? I love the phrase willpower, but willpower isn't something you conjure up. Willpower isn't something you drink. Willpower isn't something you download from Google. What you're talking about is, how do I make the choices that are in alignment with my highest purpose and my highest vision for myself? That's what you really want to ask. See, your life is a physical manifestation of the choices that you made up until this moment. I'm gonna say that again because that gets a little deep, and that can go over some people's head. That can hit you sometimes right between the eyes, and you gotta hear it a second time. So here it goes. Your life right now, as it exists today, your finances, your weight, your relationships, your career, your self-esteem, your self-image, your spiritual awareness, all of that is a result of the choices that you've made up until this moment. Big and small. And just so you know, your life, the way it appears today, is not a result of a few big choices. Even though that's the thing that we look back on, we go, I shouldn't have moved out of the state. I shouldn't have got into that relationship. I shouldn't have. We look at the big things. Well, I'm here to disrupt that mindset a bit. Your life experience right now is not so much a result of your big choices, while those impact you. It's really a result of a bunch of small little choices made consistently over a long period of time. Because those are the habits and the behaviors that you've gotten into. So we can talk about willpower and how do I build willpower, as if it's something that you can flex in the gym or something you can do crunches or abs or triceps and build, but it's not. The question you should ask, the answer you should be seeking is, what does it take to make my choices become in alignment with the life that I say I want to live? Now, when you say choices, it makes it really sobering, because even when you choose to sit down on yourself, it was a choice. So I ask you in this moment, what will it take you to decide to make the choice today? Don't even think about tomorrow, don't think about next week, but to make the choice today that's in alignment with your health goals. Make a choice today that's in alignment with your financial goals. It's the small things. It's the extra visit to Starbucks. It's the extra biscuit. It's the getting up early. It's 10 more crunches. It's doing squats every time you go to the bathroom. At least that's what I do. I do 10. I do 10 every time I go to the restroom. I'm already there. I'm just going to keep on going just because I want to stay in alignment with my goal. And my goal is to have a body that at least creates a double take or a triple take, maybe. I don't know. I wanted to create a body that is in alignment with my goal. I want to be able to go paintballing with my nephews and my son the way I just did recently. I want to be able to go jet skiing. So when I look at my life and my lifestyle that I want to maintain, it requires me to hike a little longer. It requires me to eat more vegetables and protein. It requires me, my choice of how I want to live requires my alignment in what I put in my body, or how I stay active in my body. So when I date, I don't do dinner dates. I'm not interested in doing dinner dates. You want to date me? Let's go on a hike. Let's go skating, ice skating, roller skating. Let's go on a walk. I want active dates in my dating experience, because that's in alignment with my life's purpose. So what are you choosing? Let's not even look at willpower. Let's look at choices. Because choice is something you can control in every single moment. And the choice you made yesterday, if it wasn't in alignment with your greatest goal and your highest purpose, okay, yesterday is yesterday. Make a new choice today. You're not ever condemned or sentenced to making the same choice over and over and over again. Every day, every moment, you have a new opportunity to make a new choice. So divorce yourself from the conversation, that's who I've always been. And divorce yourself from the conversation, well, Lisa, it's hard. Yeah, listen, mediocrity is crowded. Everybody's hanging out in mediocrity. But excellence, world class, it's a lot of room up there. So It's only for those who are willing to be mildly to moderately to maybe significantly inconvenienced by making the choice that's in the highest alignment with the highest version of themselves. So let's just put away willpower and let's pick up choice. And then let's make a choice that blows your mind. You know, so many people look at fear or even doubt, but they look at fear as if it's the emotional enemy. You know, it's the enemy emotion. Like, oh, I can deal with compassion. I can deal with love. I can deal with understanding. But when fear comes, oh my God, bad thing. No, first of all, change your relationship to fear. I've said this before. Fear is not the enemy. The feeling of fear is just like any other emotion. Fear is actually informing you. Fear is telling you that you need to do something. Either do more research, get some support, get some insight, study a little more, slow down. Fear is actually feeding you. So then ask yourself the question, what do I need to do, think, or go get to dissipate this fear? Because remember, fear becomes present when you've made up something that could happen in the future. And it makes you afraid right now. Like, oh my God, I'm afraid I can get hurt in this relationship. Oh my God, I'm afraid I'm gonna lose my money. You're just projecting a story that you made up. Then back into that fear and go, okay, wait, then what do I need to do to minimize the fear that I might get hurt? What do I need to do to minimize the fear that I might lose my money? What do I need to do? Of course, you can't 100% eliminate the possibility, but you can greatly reduce the chances by asking, what am I afraid of? What am I afraid that's going to happen? And then secondly, recognize that fear doesn't mean stop. People think, oh, I'm afraid, let me stop. Okay, that's a choice to stop. Fear doesn't necessarily mean stop. Fear might mean proceed with caution or proceed with more strategy. Fear doesn't, whenever I'm feeling fear, it doesn't tell me, I don't even think now to stop with the fear. I do think to slow down, go get some help, go get some insight, voice my fear so that it's not just all in my head. Recognize that fear is going to come in when you're playing bigger than you've ever played before. I say if your knees aren't knocking and your teeth aren't chattering just a little at least, then you're not playing big enough. The bigger you play, the more you're going to feel your knees knock and you're going to hear your teeth chatter. And I'm always playing big. I'm always feeling my knees knock and I'm always hearing my teeth chatter. But I've created a relationship with that fear to go, hold on. Let's say fear is right here. Fear, what are you telling me? Because fear really is, it's a story. It's something you think could happen. And could it happen? Yeah. But could it not happen? Yeah. So don't try to outrun fear. Don't try to outrun doubt. And definitely don't wait until doubt and fear are gone before you move. Find out what doubt and fear needs to dissipate into the nothingness that it always was. What does it need? And then understand that action brings clarity. So the more you move forward, the more action you're in, the more clarity you get because action breeds clarity. And clarity comes with action. So many times you're sitting on the sideline waiting to get completely clear before you take any action. And clarity is waiting for you to get in action to create clarity. So be willing. Be willing to play full out a little nervous. In that year when I was really broken, I was working at LA Unified School District. I was miserable. I was miserable because I wasn't living in my dream. I was just doing a job. And then one day I said, well, what do I need to do? I need to buy my freedom. That's what I need to do. I need to buy my freedom. Well, I don't know about buying my freedom. I don't know about having money saved up. My family didn't have money saved up. My mother used to tell me, oh, this money is burning my pocket. So I know two things about money. It's hot and we can't keep it long. We'd always have 1 week where we had all the food in the refrigerator and then 1 week where the refrigerator was empty. Right? Come on. Some of you guys know about that. To this day, I spend so much money on groceries. You guys, oh my God, it's like I'm feeding like a family of 10.
because I'm so afraid of anybody ever being in my house and being hungry. Right? And so I wrote a check to myself. Jelani was 3, $110. I took it to the bank, Wells Fargo. I started a new account. The next check I wrote, $125. And just like the first check, I put in the memo line, funding my dream. I wasn't even clear what the dream was. But I knew there was something in my belly. Who in this room know you got something in your belly? It's something, I'm not even clear about it. I don't know how clear you are, but I wasn't clear about it. But I knew there was a calling on my life greater than working for LA Unified School District. And no disrespect to LA Unified School District, it just wasn't my destiny. I wrote another check in 2 weeks, $146, funding my dream. Now I started mailing the checks in because I didn't want to see my balance. Because I didn't want to go shopping. Because you're going to repeat what you learn, right? Until you decide to not repeat what you've learned. So I mailed the check in, and then I wrote another check. And I wrote another check. And every check I wrote, I made sure it was 5% more than the first check, the previous check. I sold my Altima. I had a car note. Sold my Altima, bought a clunker because it didn't have a car note. Now I can write a bigger check, funding my dream. I moved out of my 3-bedroom, 3-bath house and moved in, became a roommate with my friend who smoked. I put towels at the base of the door so the smoke wouldn't come through the door. I was willing to be inconvenienced, are you? Yes. I'm just saying, I'm just showing you the story the charge I just gave you. I stopped getting my hair done. That was when I started going natural. I stopped going out. I stopped going out dancing. I stopped going out to dinners. My family didn't know what was going on. They thought, oh my God, it's LA. She's on drugs, but she's not losing weight, so maybe not. I don't know what's going on. I kept writing bigger checks to myself. $900. $900. I mailed it to Wells Fargo, funding my dream. $1,100. Mailed it to Wells Fargo, funding my dream. I still wasn't clear what the dream was. I just knew I had one, and it was being born through me, and I needed to give it a chance. That's all I knew. You don't have to see 2,000 feet in front of you. Just see 200 and run to the 200. Yes. You don't have to see it all. 3.5 years later, I'd written a check to myself every 2 weeks for 3.5 years. I didn't go out for 3.5 years. I didn't go dancing. I didn't get my hair done. I didn't get my nails done for 3.5 years. Are you willing to be inconvenienced for your conviction? I walk in to Wells Fargo 3.5 years later, and I said, hi, God bless you. Hi. My name is Lisa Nichols. She goes, oh my God, you're the funding my dream lady. I was like, yeah, I guess I am. And all of a sudden, all the tellers came running around. The manager came, they're like, oh my God, okay, oh my God, we have been wondering. We all got the same question. Y'all know what the question is, right? What's your dream? I was like, I'm not sure. But I know that it includes inspiring people, having people believe in themselves again, teaching them how to get back up when they've been knocked down, having them to be willing to give themselves 1,000 second chances. And every time they get to 999, press reset. I'm not sure what it's going to look like, but it's just going to help people. I said, I came to check my balance. I've been writing a few checks to you guys. They say, yes, you've been writing a lot. I said, I just want to check my balance. They said, you don't know your balance? I said, no, I got this really big stack of summary bank statements at home because my mama said money burns her pocket, and I don't want it to burn my pocket. I want it to pay for my freedom. I said, I just came to see what my balance was, if I had enough to fund my dream as it gets clearer. She wrote it down. Everyone's excited. She wrote it down, turned it around to me. I looked at it. I said, Oh no, my name is Lisa Nichols, and my Social Security number, I said, that is not my money. And I am not taking that money because you're probably gonna want it back. So just fix that error right now. And they looked at me. They said, you really don't think that's yours? I said, no, my family's never had $5,000 in the bank or $10,000 in the bank. That's $62,500 in the bank. They said, Miss Nichols, and everyone teared up. The manager teared up, the tellers teared up. They said, Miss Nichols, whatever your dream is, I think you can fund it now. I looked at my son, Jelani, who now is 5 or 6, and I said, Jelani, our lives are gonna be a little different now, baby. Jelani said, yeah, Mommy, can we now go to McDonald's? See, for 3 years I've been telling Jelani, I'll make you a Big Mac. Mama makes Big Macs better than McDonald's. And so it began with a $110 check. So I don't know what yours is. I don't know what your radical looks like. For some of you, your radical was coming here, right? Yes, yes? Yes. And this is the beginning. Yes, yes. This is the beginning of your radical. This is the next best step. This is the first step. And so I just stopped by to let you know you're on the right path. And as you ramp up, you're going to have questions. You're going to be afraid. I do more things afraid now than I do fearless. Because the bigger you play, the bigger your breakdowns. Every single one of my errors in the last 5 years have cost me 6 figures. Like every single one. Every single one of my errors has required me to call an attorney. Like they're just big, because I'm playing big. I'm playing big, so be willing to go to the edge. And this is where you are here. Be willing to go to the edge and not just lean over and feel the breeze and watch the people jump and watch them soar and look through the windows at all the people who are living great lives. Don't just go to the edge and feel it. Be willing to lean. Feel your heartbeat. Feel it. That lets you know you're alive. That lets you know you're okay. Fear fuels you. Fear lets you know, go get more information. Fear lets you know, stay up a little later and study. Fear lets you know, get up a little earlier. Fear lets you know, ask for help. Fear is informing you. It's not stopping you. It's just another emotion like love and compassion and gratitude. We just made it paralyze us. See, fear doesn't stop me. Fear informs me. And when you get intimately connected with the fear, I feel it. And I'm moving forward anyway. I feel it. And I'm going to love anyway. I feel it. And I'm going to invest in me anyway. I feel it. And I'm going to show up and play anyway. When you get connected with fear, it becomes your best friend. And when you stand on the edge, you feel the breeze. You feel the fear. And you leap anyway.
You know, so many times people look at the habits that they have, such as procrastination, and ask, why do I procrastinate? Well, I pose that question back to you. Ask yourself, what's the benefit? Because there's a benefit that you're getting out of it. So whether you believe that last minute throws you inside of an energy source, because that's what I used to think. I used to think, oh, last minute, I'm more creative. Well, the truth is you're not more creative last minute. The truth is that when you wait till the last minute, you're increasing your stress level. You're bringing down your joy. You're eliminating peace of mind. When you understand the cost, procrastination is a word. And the challenge is that procrastination is so universally accepted. It's like fear and stress. Like, I'm so stressed out. And it's become such our norm that it's okay. Well, ask yourself the question, what's the price that I pay? Because I believe any behavior that you don't want any longer, the way that the catalyst to change is recognizing the price. Because we're high producers, we can still get it done inside of procrastinating. We can still get it done. But if you ever take a moment to stop and ask yourself and answer, what's the cost of me procrastinating? And you can do that for everything, but we're focused on procrastination now. What's the cost of me procrastinating? Let's go down that list. When you procrastinate, it costs you clear organizational time because now you're rushing. When you procrastinate, it costs you peace of mind. When you procrastinate, you're now thrown in urgency. Urgency increases your stress. Urgency is known to increase your stress. If you live in urgency, you literally are 2-3 times more likely to have a heart attack, I hear. Not confirmed, but that's what I heard. So if you live in this space of urgency all the time because of a behavior that you can modify, think about it. How are we forward moving, upwardly mobile? How are we brilliant and operating in something we can control? There's so many things that you can't control. Procrastination is something that you can control. I used to be last minute and I resisted. I gotta tell you, I resisted planning. I thought it was for slackers. I didn't need to plan. I can go off the fly, and I'm pretty creative and I can get myself out of some pretty hairy situations, and I can produce pretty good content, pretty good experiences last minute. So I lived in the last minute conversation. I didn't even call it procrastination. It was just when it was scheduled to be done. So if I'm flying out at noon, I can pack at 7 in the morning. When I realized that I eliminated the space that I needed to do it in such a planned, methodical way that on the other side, I felt good about it. When you wait to the last minute to do anything, you've now taken the joy away that comes with having the space to do it in a timeline that's effective. But here's the other thing. I ask you, what are you proving to yourself when you can get it done at the last minute? What are you proving to yourself? Because there's some form of proving or denying, or there's something going on that you still need to do. Especially if you know how to plan in other areas of your life. You can't be a part-time planner, part-time strategist, part-time person who's prepared, and then in this other area you're not. No, now you're making a choice. So why do you choose to procrastinate? What do you believe it's giving you? And if you found out that it's not really giving you what you thought it's giving you, or if you found out that procrastination is giving you a whole lot more than you bargained for, it's giving you stress. It's giving you the non-gift of urgency. It's giving you all these things that you go, oh, I didn't know all that comes with it. Yeah, and the challenge is you manage all that well. And because you manage it well, you think it's okay to have it. Can we give you more peace of mind? I packed the same exact clothes for a trip. I simply packed for the trip 72 hours in advance. So the final 72 hours that I have, I can use that relaxing, or I can use that planning something else. But when I'm in urgency packing, and I've been there plenty of times, I lose the creativity, I lose the peace of mind, and I lose a little bit of joy. Because now I'm bumped up against a deadline that's so intense, and it's a non-negotiable deadline. If I back away from that deadline, and I give space and grace and ease, it actually is a form of self-love. I know that sounds crazy, that planning and not procrastinating is a form of self-love. But see, when you procrastinate, you're putting that thing you need to do last, which really is putting you last again. So if you procrastinate, you're putting yourself last. It's not the only time you put yourself last. It's a behavior and a habit that you do. So I ask, can you move yourself up to the top? You might not put yourself first, but can you put yourself second? I'm gonna shoot for first. Procrastination and overcoming procrastination. You're talking to a recovering procrastinator. That when I moved from procrastination to better planning, I felt the grace and ease and space in my life. I still had the same hours in the day. I just organized them differently. I just set better priorities, more effective priorities. That you're not supposed to enjoy the experience when you get there. You're supposed to enjoy the experience and the journey getting there. And when you move from procrastination to planning to time management, and time management is a fact. Time management has a direct impact on procrastination. If it matters to you, it should find its way in your calendar. It should find its way. When I'm going on a trip, I have pack. I have pack in my calendar. I have it pack in my calendar 4 days before I'm leaving, so that if I run out of time and it takes me a whole day to get to packing, I'm still 3 days early. It took a long time to learn that. Procrastination is showing up for you last. Are you willing to show up for you first? Are you willing to trust if you can do a good job at the last minute? What can you do if you planned it out in a more effective way? What can you do? If you just live this next season on what could I do if I search for the best and brightest version of myself? Procrastination will be on the list of one of the things you modify to discover the best and brightest and most brilliant version of yourself.
If you want another amazing Lisa Nichols video, check it out right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.
I think perfection and balance are two illusions that are designed to help you keep chasing something that's not even attainable.
Everybody's got an opinion, an agenda for what you should do with your time.